Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning. Actually, Saturday morning. It's 7 o'clock. So, as per normal, we have news that comes flying out on late Friday that kind of gets buried. And this one's obviously concerning, but it's just something that we have to deal with if we do. According to the New York Times this morning, the FDA is supposedly going to approve Pfizer's jab on Monday. Now, I'll believe it when I see it because, of course, the New York Times is not exactly what I'd call the most reliable source. It's more of a fear porn paper than anything else. Used to be the creme de la creme, and now it's the creme de la birdcage. The interesting thing is their sources are, of course, unnamed sources who are unauthorized to speak publicly about it. Okay, in other words, there's a 50-50 chance that somebody made this up, which I wouldn't put past the New York Times as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Of course, other media, Reuters has picked up the story, and, some of the secondary media platforms have picked it up, just reporting on what the New York Times reported. Nobody else has been able to confirm this, but this is what it is. But this puts everything into high gear, guys, because, give you a few things. You all saw the deal that came down last week, how Potato is, we know about, forcing federal employees to get the jab. Okay, they're federal employees. Biden's in charge of the federal employees. Okay, and companies can do what they want. That's the definition of at-will employment. All right. So you also get to legal issues, but I'm not getting into that here. Okay. We saw this story on nursing homes and the federal government saying if the nursing home employees aren't mandated, then they're going to cut off Medicare and Medicaid funding. Well, it's a nursing home. They live on Medicare and Medicaid. A few of you guys work in some of those facilities, and I know you've emailed me about it. That's going to make it very interesting because my daughter, who worked in a nursing home facility her last year of college, quit over the whole how poorly they handled protecting the employees. And she was telling me all the time about how short-staffed they were all the time anyway. Now if nursing home employees are like the rest of the country, if they lose 40% of their employees, okay, you might want to think about the care that any of your family members are getting that are in any sort of nursing home. Just a thought. More importantly, we saw, and Angry Prepper put out a great video on it about a week ago, listing all the companies that King de Blasio decided to ban people from. And, he had talked in there about restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, it's the dog. Okay. I was hearing ticking. I was like, what was that? Oh, dog's downstairs. Tick, tick, tick on the floor. But, banning people from sit-down restaurants and kind of going back to where we were last year with lockdowns. But the concern was when he talked about grocery stores, and at least for the way de Blasio's order read is you couldn't go into any grocery store that had sit-down eating, had a deli or something like that, where you get a plate of food or whatever, where you could actually prepared food eat in the store. So that causes a problem because a lot of stores are like that. Like I said in one video before, of the 4 groceries that are around me, 3 of them have sit-down eating. So, that makes that an issue. Now, of course, you have Guam. Guam is a U.S. territory and has also enacted similar restrictions as to what New York did. Now, you all know what I've said for months at this point. I see a lockdown coming around Labor Day. Here's your next clue. And if they force this after an FDA approval, which you know they're going to try, okay, that's going to lead to out and out chaos, because there are many people that have said, my company does it, I quit. Okay, the store requires it, they don't get my business anymore, and that's our right. So this is a time, here this weekend where, get any last minute stuff you need to fill in the holes that you have in your preps. Okay. Obviously we're in harvest time, get your vegetables in, make sure you've got your canning jars or whatever, however your Ziploc bags, however you're going to store your food. But make sure you have your big grocery run done. Stock up your meat, stock up your canned goods, whatever it would be. Perishables, I get it. I mean, you can't really stock up milk. Yeah, you can freeze milk, guys, just in case you didn't know. That does work. You can freeze butter. You can freeze eggs. Okay, can't freeze the whole egg. But you can crack all your eggs in a bowl, scramble them up, put them in a Ziploc bag, lay them down and freeze them like that. And you can freeze eggs like that. So there are ways to do it. I don't think this is going to last forever. Okay. I do see very quickly where, at least for the next month, we're going to have, what New York Times is reporting is true, is there going to be a massive ramp up in pressure for companies to start restricting employees, start restricting customers, whatever. I do see that. What I also see is it's probably going to be relatively short-lived, like the door knocker campaign, because they're going to realize really quick that this is destroying business. Some of the states, the blue states, I think will wind up going in lockdown here in the next few weeks because of all of this. We're coming into fall, and, just like everywhere else, every other year, this is when flu season will start. And you'll ramp up, and just like last year, there will be 0 cases of influenza because everybody will be diagnosed as having COVID. So, expect more lockdowns. My guess is primarily in the blue states, because the red states have already said to 46, go fly a kite. We're not going to do this. But yeah, this is kind of what's going on. If the FDA is supposedly, and like I said, according to the old gray birdcage liner, they're going to do it on Monday. We'll see. I still don't think it's going to happen. I could be completely wrong. Okay. I think this is all fear tactics that the government's using. And I mean, again, we know the liberal media is just, Pravda from the Soviet Union. I mean, it's just a mouthpiece of the government. I think they put out all this sensationalist stuff to scare people, and it's scare tactics. I personally don't ever see this thing getting fully approved. But I'm not a doctor, so I just kind of trying to read the brainwaves, I guess, if you will, using logic, something that's not exactly used that often in Washington. But so just a heads up, guys, make sure you're taken care of for your preps. We could wind up in let's put it this way, not a lockdown situation, but a lockout situation where you're just not allowed to go get the stuff that you need. So, thoughts for Saturday morning on what happened on Friday night. Have a good day, guys. I will be mailing out some tomato seeds this morning when the post office opens. I got all those ones I already did processed, so those will go out in today's mail. You'll probably have them sometime next week, and then I will be doing my chores around the house. Have a good one, guys. Pinball out.